Joining us now is Matt Miller, online columnist for The Washington Post. He's a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, and he's an MSNBC contributor. Mr. Miller served as a senior advisor in the White House Office of Management and Budget from 1993 to 1995 under President Bill Clinton. Mr. Miller, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
So the progressive budget is a very populist plan. The individual stuff in it, like raising the taxes on the richest, getting rid of the oil company subsidies, those things poll very well. They're very popular. Could the deficit really be brought down that quickly with policies, with the policies that are in this plan?
Yes. I mean, what was smart about the Progressive Caucus is they actually went to the right of the current debate on fiscal responsibility and said, we don't have to wait, 25 years like Paul Ryan does, or Barack Obama, which sort of never shows balance, but we can balance the budget in 10 years, and we can do it in ways that are progressive, and here's a roadmap that shows you how. So I think it's such a surprise to the conventional wisdom that the normal Beltway media has had trouble processing what to do with it.
I made a joke that I meant about the Beltway sort of being incapable of covering liberals. Liberals are covered almost almost like foreign news, if not, as I said, anthropology. Do you think that it is a broader disinclination of the Beltway press to cover liberal ideas and liberal politics that explains ignoring this? Or is this the sort of thing that's been introduced by the sorts of people that just aren't ever taken seriously on fiscal matters, no matter what it is they say about them?
It's a little bit of both, Rachel, because the basic mode of coverage, I think, is that the sort of establishment press acts as stenographers to power, and you have a mainstream Democratic position, obviously represented by the president, and you have the opposition represented by Paul Ryan, and that sort of defines what the boundaries of debate are going to be, because the media faithfully reflects those two poles of debate. So if you're coming from outside those polls, or in this case, what's interesting about the Progressive Caucus is they're more fiscally conservative than the current debate, but they're more socially liberal in terms of the investments they make in education and infrastructure and jobs, and they're more progressive in terms of what they're doing on upper income earners in the tax code. The Beltway, because they're not the official spokesman of the party like the president is, they tend to get ignored, and so I think they would have to be a little bit more creative publicity-wise to get attention for their ideas.
I will say that we get lobbied all the time and stuff to cover, and you would think that a show like mine would get lobbied all the time to cover all the liberal things. The sum total of lobbying that we've had on covering the progressive budget has been liberal wonks tweeting about it. That's sort of been it. So I hear you about the publicity. Matt, in your latest column, you said you played with the idea that what you should write for your column just over and over again is the House Republican budget adds $6 trillion to the debt in the next decade, yet the GOP is balking at raising the debt limit. And you sort of played with the idea of just typing that over and over and over again for your entire column in order to make it sink in. Why is it that the fiscal conservatism of the Paul Ryan plan really isn't being quantified? It's being taken for what they say it is rather than what it really is. That's the sort of big question right now in Washington, and I had in mind that great scene from the movie The Shining where the wife comes across Jack Nicholson's manuscript that just says all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, for thousands of pages. That's what I felt like doing with the Paul Ryan and the debt. I think the answer is that the part of it is the stenography that we talked about, but part of it is a kind of fear of numbers. And I think there's a lot of folks in at least on some of the beats for the major papers that are reluctant to look at Paul Ryan's own plan, because the numbers I use are from the plan that he issued. And if you just look at some of the key things, you realize that the image that he's been able to craft for himself as quote-unquote fiscally conservative is totally at odds with the actual plan, which runs up more debt in the next 10 years. That's what it proposes, than at any 10-year period in American history. Now, it should be said that Barack Obama's plan is even worse. Ryan would add $6 trillion in the next decade, and the news this week was that Obama's latest version of his plan would add probably $7 trillion. Neither is adequate, and that's what makes proposals like the
Progressive Caucus is interesting because they say, let's balance the budget faster, but let's do it by making choices within that are more progressive.
You served in the Clinton administration in the 90s. You know a lot about the relationship between economic policy and winning politics. In terms of this particular battle right now, what do you think of Democrats' prospects for turning their economic policy into good political outcomes? Do you think that they are aiming at doing that?
I think there's no question that the speech that Obama gave the other day, contrasting what his approach is going to be with the Republican approach represented by Paul Ryan, is going to be a winner. That's what you're seeing in all these town halls already, because you've got, when you're able to contrast, the Republicans want to cut Medicare or change Medicare in order to cut taxes for the wealthy. I think that's very powerful as a matter of politics. The thing that people should realize, and the progressives should realize, though, is the debate isn't the right debate. Obama can win on those politics, and I think if that's what the contours of debate sound like going into 2012, he will. But there's a big difference between Obama winning on that message and actually having solutions that are equal to the problems that the country faces. Obama doesn't do enough, not only on the debt, but on reorienting enough of federal spending away from the elderly, which is where all the growth is in the budget. Even Paul Ryan is increasing Social Security and Medicare by something like 75% over the next 10 years. The entire federal budget today goes for consumption for the elderly on health care and pensions, and there's less and less left for education, to recruit a new generation of teachers to our toughest schools, where we're going to need to raise pay substantially to get better talent to the classroom, for infrastructure and the other things that the Progressive Caucus is fighting for. And Obama's message may win for 2012, but that doesn't mean it's going to get us where we need to go.
Matt Miller, columnist for The Washington Post, senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, and an MSNBC contributor. Matt, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Glad to be with you.